This DJI Spark, it's frustrating. All right, it is Sunday morning. I am at my in-laws' place, getting a little bit of a late start. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. Last night we went down to Guttenberg for the parade and the fireworks down there. We're getting gas at Casey's, and I ran into Love Jar Vlogs. I ran into Matt and Christy down there. Matt's got his channel, Diary of a Pudgy Man. So that was really cool to run into them. Wasn't expecting that. Just getting in there to get some coffee for my wife and myself. We were exhausted from the last week and a little out of it, and we needed some coffee. I go in there and I'm like, hey, I know these people. So I mean I never met them before except for on YouTube, so it was really cool to run into them. I'll put links to their channels down in the description. But today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and do another drone run. And so we're gonna head out to the Heritage Trail. Today I'm gonna head down to Dyersville, and I'm gonna shoot for about 8 miles, and we'll see what we get. I'm gonna try to see if I can get Active Track to work today. I really had a lot of trouble with it last time. I've got a little bit more flight time on my belt, and by a little bit more, I think maybe 20 more minutes of flight time since the last drone run. So hopefully that new experience will pay off. Another thing I'm trying is I'm trying a new running pack. The last time I went for a run, I just had like a cheap packable backpack that I was running in, and I was able to put the entire DJI Spark case and drone inside it. Since then, I had to buy a replacement running backpack because the last one I had just crapped out on me. Right now, I picked up the Nathan 4. Figured it's time for me to get a proper non-knockoff running backpack. And problem is, the case for the Spark doesn't fit inside. But I had to take the drone out of the case. Hopefully that doesn't affect the drone's longevity and or performance at all. So we'll see how that goes. Also, hopefully I don't end up getting the drone really wet from sweating through my back. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Alright, so just took the drone up for a quick flight. Still having problems with Active Track. I don't know if it's because whenever the 2 times I've tried Active Track, it's been when I've been under tree cover and the lighting is poor. So maybe it's having a hard time keeping track with me, but I don't know, I just can't figure that out. All right, just finished the run. According to Strava, it was 7.6 miles. According to trail markers, it was over 8. Either way, it's fine. I'm just happy I got a run in today. When I woke up this morning, I definitely hit the snooze button a couple of times, maybe for about an hour. And I wasn't sure I was gonna make it out today. So any run that I got today was great, but this DJI Spark, it's frustrating. There's probably also a lot of user error in there, but frustrating nonetheless. So the Nathan pack worked out great. It fit the drone in there fine. After a while, I don't know if the drone in there rotated or what, but it settled in and it stopped making that clicking sound every time I took a step. The pack itself was really good. The water bottle worked out great. It carried a nice amount of water. I was able to put my GoPro in the other front pocket up here, and that felt fine. And then after a while, I did have to take the phone out of the pocket that's like on the shoulder. It kept rubbing against my collarbone. I think I'm just too bony, or my phone is too big. Probably a little bit of both. This is the bag that I put the drone in because it wouldn't fit in the case. And this is a bag that Designing Elementary made for me. She custom made it. I don't know if you could see that because of the lighting in here. There we go. Designing Elementary made it for me. She custom made it because I wanted something that I could fit camera accessories in, and she even put a label on it. I'm gonna put Spark on it, or drone. It fit inside just fine. By the time I was back from the run, though, I ran 8 miles in the summer and a lot of heat. This part of the drone was damp because this is the part that I ended up putting against my back, right? And so this part was a little bit damp. Nothing was wet. Frustrating things about the drone, though. One is that I'm gonna turn off the engine so I can talk to you for a minute. It's so bright out. One is that the active track, I just couldn't get it to work. Even when I got it, I did get it to work for me eventually. But what ended up happening was I wanted to set up the shot so it would get me from like a profile shot, so that it would just follow me as I ran. But instead what happened was I set up the shot, I stood sideways, and I made the square, you know, like around me, and then I hit active track, and it said it was engaged, and I started running, and then what I saw happening was the drone rotated as I like ran past it. And then after a while, it tucked in behind me and followed me like that, which was fine enough, but that's not the shot that I bought this drone for. The shot that I bought this drone for was to have it on profile from either really close range or from really, really, really far away to get like a huge panorama of me running, you know, in the kind of like in the middle of the frame. And so I don't know if I'm just using it wrong. I think what I'm going to end up doing is just running and holding the controller on the phone so that way it goes. And the other limitation is that I can't get this thing to fly faster than 6 miles an hour. I don't know if it's still in beginner mode. I thought I turned beginner mode off, but I don't know if it's, I don't think it was in beginner mode today. But I can only get it to fly 6 miles an hour, and that might just because I'm running it off my phone. But I don't have really that much interest in running it off of a controller because I don't want to have a controller and a phone and a drone. I just think that's a lot of stuff to run with. And so I run, I think, you know, my marathon goal pace is 8 minutes a mile. I think that's about 8 minutes per mile. And so that is about 7.5 miles an hour. And so I run a little bit faster than this drone flies. And so that's a little bit frustrating too, because I wanted to be able to like just keep up with me like step by step. The third thing that's disappointing is that, you know, the limitation of it being only being able to fly so many meters away from you. And I thought that that limitation was Wi-Fi based because the communication between the phone and the drone is by Wi-Fi. And I thought I could get around that by, if I'm running and it's, you know, like 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet away from me, but we're running, you know, in parallel, we're never more than 50 feet away. So I should be able to get like a 2-minute long, a 4-minute long, an 8-minute long shot of just running. And that might be 8 minutes, would be like a mile. But the drone would be able to do it because we're not that far away. It's never that far away from each other, right? But I think the way that that distance limitation works is because it remembers its go-to home location for battery purposes and in case the signal gets lost, it will only fly like that 50 meters or whatever it is once you take it off of beginner mode. It will only fly 50 meters from that point. So you're limited by two things in terms of how far this drone can fly. One is how far is the phone from the drone because of the Wi-Fi. But also how far is the drone from its home location that it took off from. That's also a limiting factor too. So really, really annoying. Very frustrating. I don't know if that's a limitation with the Mavic. It may be. But those are just some things I have to keep in mind. Every camera has its limitations and its strengths. This biggest strength is that it's so small and it's very quick to get up into the air. And it's very quick to get back down. Although I do wish it would descend faster. It always seems to take forever. But overall, I still like it. I'm having some second thoughts about whether or not I should have bought the Mavic, but I think that I just need to learn what the limitations are, just like I needed to learn what the limitations of a GoPro are, where it's great, where it's not, what the limitations of the iPhone's camera are, where it's good, where it's not. I got to figure that out more. I'm going to play around with it more today. I'm going to get home, get this battery charged up, and get it up into the air again, and try to learn some more nuances. Try to push it a little bit more so that way I figure out some of these limitations before I get on the run rather than once I'm already on the trail and trying to get a run in at the same time. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Also, the other thing that's annoying today is that the GoPro, I think I need to reformat the memory card because there's only like 8 or 9 clips on it and it keeps saying SD card full. And so I forgot my headphones on the run today. The GoPro memory card is acting funny. I was having issues with the drone or learning some of the limitations of the drone that were surprising. And so, all in all, not great, but, on the last half, because everything died, the drone died, the GoPro was full, I didn't have any music to listen to. The last like 4 miles of this run, I was really able to lock in, and I got in a really good run. And that felt really good. So there's a plus to it.